Hello my friends, this is Jeannie. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Where have you been? Today we are going to start working on the cover for the business card art and crafts journal cover collaboration and swap. If you have not seen my introduction video where I explain the collab and the swap and what it's all about, be sure to check it out. I would put a card in this general area here linking you to that video. So this video, as I said, I am going to work on the cover, which is in here somewhere. Here is the cover. What I'm going to do is set this aside. I'm not going to work directly on this. Instead, what I'm going to do is work on some cold pressed watercolor paper. I have a sheet that is much larger than the cover itself, and the reason I want to work on a larger sheet is because I want the option of moving the cover around depending on what section I like best and sizing it down. I don't want to be limited to just one specific size. What if there are parts of it I don't like? What if it's something about it I want to edit? This gives me more options, and I'm using watercolor paper because I'm really not sure what I'm going to do. I just pulled a bunch of items from my supplies, items that I have been wanting to use for a long time, and other items that are scraps from other projects that I recently completed. This lovely pile of scraps and cut-offs from my last journal project are going to be used to create a background. I'm going to do some stenciling, so I pulled some of my favorite stencils. I have to tell you, this stencil right here I've had for a good long time, and I absolutely love it. It's by Hero Arts. I use this all of the time to make like cute, kind of like whimsical clouds with texture paste. It is just amazing. So I of course pulled out that one. It's one of my favorites. Some different stencils, not really sure if I'm going to need them all. Some circles, some stars, some foliage. And then for the focal piece, the focal point of the cover, I have some Stamperia rice paper. This cutie has been in my collection for a good long while, and I have been waiting for an opportunity to use her, and I think this is it. So I have her. And the card that I received had some clocks and time elements to it, so I have this paper also by Stamperia. So using all of these items, I am going to hopefully make a cover that I'm happy with. Just to remind you, here is the card that I received from Rosie, and that is the source of inspiration in making my cover. So I think what I'm going to do is just set the rest of this to music, and let's see what happens. this is the background. It is not final. I need to go through and add some more elements. I want to add some gold thread, some sequins maybe, and I am going to darken the edges so that I have a nice dark frame around this. I just think that makes something look a bit more finished. So I might as well start by darkening the edges, and I think for that I have black soot archival ink sitting on my desk, so I am going to use that. Yeah, that's not nearly dark enough. I have the Gilder's wax paste in black. That's pretty dark, so I think I will use some of that. Oh yeah. World of difference. World of difference. Yeah, I want that to be very black. So what I think I need to do is cut this down now. I need to size it now because I want to add gold thread, and I'm going to sew the thread onto the cover. And the last thing I want is to sew my thread. I'm going to hand sew it. I'm going to hand stitch it. Stitch the thread onto my cover and then snip the thread when I cut the cover down to size. So here is my cover. So let's see, what area do I really love? I really love this area here with the different textures. But then again, I love this area up here. I really do, because it's a little lighter and I think you just get more contrast with the different colors. So I think, yeah, I think I'm going to cut it up there. Yeah, and keep the moon. So I'm going to flip this over. Here's my cover. Get a straight edge. My utility knife. I'm not going to even try to use my chopper on this because I would be afraid, very afraid. So what I'm going to do now is clean up. Well, they cut pretty nicely. I'm going to ink up, right, these edges. I think we can officially call that background done. So now what I'm going to do is probably clean up this desk a little bit and come back and work on sewing on some details and adding that focal point. So I pulled out sequins and my seed beads, a needle, and some gold thread, and I started doing some sewing on the journal cover just to see if I liked it. I do. I don't know if you can see it. It's a little gold star there, some gold threads, and some sequins with seed bead in the center. So I thought I would do a few with you here. So let me show you. This is thin enough, this cover, where I don't have to pre-make any holes, but if I had to puncture some holes just so that I don't have to force a needle through and risk breaking the needle, I would just use like a little pokey tool to just poke some holes. But I did test it and the needle's going through just fine. I choose a smaller needle because it has to be small enough to be able to thread through sequins and the seed beads, and the seed beads are super small, so I have to be really careful that the needle works with the seed bead. I'm also going to try to keep it more on this side of the cover because I think my girl, where is she? Where are you, sweetie? She is facing to my left, so she will be on the right side of the cover, so there's no point in me adding sequins or anything with dimension to this side of the cover because it's just going to be covered up. So just gonna poke my needle through, grab one of these purple, I'm also going to grab a seed bead. Now what the seed bead does, it allows me to thread the sequins, thread the seed bead, then go back down that same hole and lock both the seed bead and that sequence into place. So we will do a few together. I think this time I'm just going to grab one of the stars from this mix. So you see I have the sequins, the seed bead. I'm just going to push that seed bead over a little bit so I can go back through that same hole of the sequins and just lock it into place. Just going to add a few more here and there and call it done. I will say this does require a lot of patience. I once did, for my Girl Scouts, I did this same method to bling up the Girl Scout symbol for our banner, our troop banner. And it was so labor intensive and it took forever, but the end result, gorgeous, gorgeous. I was very pleased with it. Oh no, I just broke my needle. But I think you get the general idea. What I'm going to do is tie this off. Oh goodness. Needle was way, it's like such a delicate little needle because it's so small and thin. Maybe I should have poked those holes, right? That's okay. No harm, no foul. I'll tie it off find me another needle. Hopefully I have one, just a small, and continue adding more of these to the cover. And so next time you see this, all the seed beads and sequins would have been added. I am done with the sewing. Hopefully you can see what I've done. I have some of that gold thread. I have some of that sequins with the seed beads. I have some of those little gold stars. I just threaded a few clusters of just the seed beads just to have some movement on the cover. And I think it looks good. The next part of this is working with this cutie. I am going to have to fussy cut her for sure, because I'm not going to use this entire rice paper. Also, I'm not just going to glue her onto the cover. What I'm going to do is, before I glue her onto the cover, I am going to put her on some cardstock so that she has a white background behind her, and it'll make her pop. If I mount her onto white paper, you can see just how much more vibrant the image is, as opposed to mounting her on darker paper. You can see she's not as vibrant. She doesn't pop as much. So what I'm going to do is mount her onto the white paper, and then once she's on here, I will fussy cut her even more. I think for now I'm just gonna do like a rough cut, just so that I don't glue the entire rice paper. And I'm also going to glue the sentiment onto the paper, because even if I don't use it for this project, I can use it for others. Also, backing her onto the cardstock will make it much, much easier to fussy cut her. Here she is, all fussy cut. It's nice and sturdy. What I'm going to do now is just ink all of these edges so that white is not so stark. So I think she definitely belongs right here. We do need to ground her. So I have that corrugated cardboard I mentioned earlier. Just needs a little something to stand on, nothing crazy. So we can take some of this. We do need to distress it some, so I'm going to use ground espresso. To start, and probably go in with some of that black soot on top. Just to catch some of the ridges. Or maybe add some gold splatter. Yeah, I think that works. So we are going to glue this. Sorry, I'm not very chatty, my friends. Sometimes I just ain't got nothing to say. And I think that's okay. Yeah, she works. You work. So I think I am going to use this same Monotombo liquid glue. Here is the cover. I would like to add some flat back pearls to her crown. It is now the next day. The cover is done. I added the flat back pearls to her crown. I also used some Nouveau crystal drops to add some sparkle to her crown, her wand, and her wings. What I did was I took some of the drops, applied them to all three, and then just used my finger to spread it out some so that you wouldn't have drops, but you do definitely have texture and you have that bling. I don't know that the camera is picking it up, but it is there. I did add Nouveau crystal drops to the hem of her dress, and I did leave those in their little drop form. I didn't flatten it because I wanted the dimension there. I wanted that to look like little jewels or dewdrops on the hem of her dress. And I did add a sentiment. I used some Tim Holtz quote chips and I chose Dreamer of Dreams because this little one looks like she's just hanging high in the sky, dreaming up dreams and then sprinkling them down and visiting them onto all of the human souls down below. So I love the way she turned out. She will have to spend a little time in my book press because she's got a little bit of a warp to her. But I think if I put her in my book press overnight, she should be flat enough that Patty will not have too difficult of time attaching her to a journal as a cover. So yeah, this is my journal cover for Patty. Patty, I hope you like it. I certainly had so much fun making it. And now that this cover is ready and all I have to do is ship her, I am going to open the package that I received from Patty and see the cover she made for me. I will share that with you in the next video. And in the next video, I will also start working on the journal to coordinate with the cover that Patty sent to me. So thank you, my friends, for joining me. I truly do appreciate you. Be sure to check out the other ladies participating in the collaboration. All of their links will be down below. And I will catch you all in the next video, my friends. Until next time, bye-bye.